Joining us now, ESPN play-by-play superstar, Horizon League basketball expert.
Oh, by the way, it's a little cool out here.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes!
Adam
Yes!
Amin is with us of ESPN.
Oh, my goodness. That is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I hope those of you back in Valparaiso, Indiana are watching this right now. Although, this is outdated now because
we need a new shirt.
We're going to have to get you guys some Missouri Valley Conference shirts.
Yes,
now.
you are.
I wear
yes,
this
you
to
are.
play pickup basketball sometimes. People are like, why do you have a Valpo shirt? I'm like, it's a fun
You're just trying to channel the greatness of Valpo basketball.
Yeah, I'm like, the Drews, Adam Amin, let's go.
Yeah, with my huge athletic prowess when it comes to Valpo basketball, and clearly the athletic prowess that I showed off or didn't show off on my route to the Y today.
Now let's discuss that. So this morning, Dusty Dvorak, the analyst, and Molly McGrath, the sideline reporter, they hiked the Y. Molly tweets out this video from the bottom of the Y looking up.
Yeah.
And there's somebody missing, and it's you. Here's the video. Why weren't you there, Adam, this morning?
So I was not ready for the altitude. I absolutely was not ready for it. So we got to probably the first switchback, and I was doing okay, but like, you know, my legs are burning. I'm starting to feel it a little bit. I was like, all right, let's keep going. And
Are
I'm
you
trying
running or walking?
So we did make the mistake of starting out running.
Oh, wow.
And that probably just killed it for me right away. Remember, Dusty and Molly are legit athletes. Molly was a cheerleader in college. Dusty obviously played in the NFL. Like, these are legit athletes. They stay in really good shape, unlike other people on the crew. And I was definitely lagging behind. I had to take a break for a second, and then I was like, all right, come on, we can do this. We can get up there. I got about 2.5 switchbacks in, and I was like, I can't do it. I was feeling woozy. I was feeling dizzy. I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm just gonna cash in.
You pulled a Mac Brown.
we went Mac. But the thing is, he lasted longer than I did. I only made it about halfway. On the other hand, like, if I didn't stop right then and there, I was probably going to fall and roll down the entirety of the mountain.
Are you okay now? You were thinking of this show and this program. You got to be ready for BYU.
I wanted to be full strength when I came on BYU.
Yeah. Also another program, but yeah. How you feeling now? You okay?
Oh no, it's fine good? Now. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure.
Now you're down at 4,500 feet of
elevation. This is actually
not 7,000.
This is a feasible place to be compared to where we were about an hour and a half ago. So.
All right, Adam. What are your top storylines tonight for BYU and Boise State? We've talked about anything and everything all week long.
Sure.
Turnovers, quarterback, Boise State's offense struggling, BYU's offense struggling. What are you specifically watching for tonight?
We do this thing on Friday nights called the Dossier. We open it up to kind of introduce people to the game. Now, it's easy when you do number 5 against number 16 like we did last week. It's not much of a sell. Here, people are going 1-4, 2-2. Why am I getting involved in this? There's a desperate feeling when we got a chance to talk to both of these coaching staffs. Significant desperation from both sides. I really felt it from Brian Harsin. We had their last game against Virginia a couple of weeks ago against Bronco, and they performed very, very well against Boise State on the blue turf and won. The running game was really bad for Boise State. The offensive line's been struggling. Their defense is not bad. They gave up a lot of yards and a lot of points to Virginia, but their offense wasn't putting them in very good positions either. Neither was the special teams. So I felt that desperation from them right away. And I didn't know what the feeling was going to be when we talked with Kalani and Elisha and Ty yesterday, and we got a chance to talk with Tanner and a couple of other guys. I didn't know what that feeling was going to be, but you got that sense. Like, this is back against the wall time. And I think that phrase, I want to say Kalani used that with us yesterday. So this is a desperation type of game. I think I heard you guys say it. This is kind of the crux of the season for both of these teams. A win for BYU. All right, we've got 2010. You know, we think about 1-4, starting off rough. We've got a relatively easy schedule going forward. Can we get 5 or 6 wins in these next 8 games? Yeah, if we win tonight, I think we feel pretty good about it. And for Boise State, they're still in good position, by the way. They're 1-0 in the Mountain West. It's not like their season is over by any means. But I think they need a win tonight to get back on track, feel a little bit of confidence. So outside of the micro, that's the macro that we're coming in with. And then the micro stuff is a lot of what you guys have already talked about. The offensive line play for Boise State has been bad. Offensively, BYU with the personnel changes has been so inconsistent. This is a team that, you know, when I was here last year, they put up 55. Alabama scored 66 on Saturday. BYU scored 63 in 5 games. That's very surprising.
Let's hope the Adam Amin effect takes place tonight for BYU in Little Edwards Stadium.
Little drama, good vibes and whatnot. I'm not sure what to think of Boise State because they're up 21 on Wazoo, who beats USC. Yet they lose by 19 to Virginia. That's Bronco Mendenhall's best win there, which we were happy for him. to do that. What do you think of the Broncos at this point? They don't have a Jay Ajayi, Jeremy McNichols in the backfield right now. It's different. Brett Rippon hasn't thrown a touchdown pass. What in the world?
That's incredible to us. That was the stat that stuck out beyond anything. Of any opening game starting quarterback in college football this year, he's the only one without a passing touchdown.
That's so weird.
Incredible for a guy who's been Mountain West Freshman of the Year. He's been first-team Mountain West. He's been one of the better pocket-passing quarterbacks in college football, and we're looking at him saying, you know, a couple of years down the line, this is probably going to be an NFL quarterback if it continues this run. We've seen so many struggles, but a lot of it is not on him. Just the same way we kind of look at the quarterbacks that you guys have had and have had to rotate through, you don't really put all the blame on the QBs. Yes, does the quarterback play need to be better for BYU? Of course, but with all the inconsistencies of the personnel around the QBs, that's been probably the biggest issue, and that's how Boise is kind of rolling right now as well. This is an offensive line that has built itself, a program that's built itself on offensive line play with those running backs.
They're all over the NFL.
This is an absolute shocker to see them struggle in the running game as much as they have. We had them 2 weeks ago, 30 yards on 24 carries on the ground. That is very un-Boise State-like. So the coaching staff was very quick to say, listen, it's not all on Brett. It's not all on Montel Cozart, who's played very well in his time, whether as a starter or as a guy coming in for a change of pace. It's got to be the other guys. The receivers had a lot of drops, 10 drops against Virginia in that game 2 weeks ago. Sean Modster had a really rough game. Richardson wasn't as involved early as he should have been. Cedric Wilson is Cedric Wilson. He's going to hurt you regardless. Playing a very elite level wide receiver, but the other guys have to step up around Rippon and around Cozart.
When you look at what Virginia did so well against Boise State a couple of weeks ago, and the Broncos do have the luxury of coming off of a bye week to try and shore up some of these weaknesses, what can BYU learn from that film that they can try and use to exploit Boise State tonight?
I think, again, it goes down to quarterback play. Will the execution be there for the quarterbacks, whoever ends up playing tonight for BYU? But can you expose the secondary? Because there were some busted coverages for Boise State as well. A lack of communication, which, again, considering some of the veterans on that defense, also very surprising. But Virginia was able to beat coverage. They were able to get big chunks of yardage downfield. If Tanner Mangum is healthy, I'm not going to say he's going to be able to move the way we typically know him to move when he is healthy, but if he's healthy enough to go tonight, if he's got a clean pocket, there's going to be some chances to take some shots. And I don't think Ty Detmer's in a place right now where he feels confident through the first 5 games about how this team has looked in downfield passing. If Tanner Mangum is healthy enough to go, this offensive line has to hold up against a pretty good front. And if that's the case, Tanner's going to have some shots to throw the ball downfield.
What do you think could be a difference tonight? Because last year, BYU had to be +5 just to be in that game.
Yeah.
+5 and lost. BYU's coming off of a -6 game in which ball security obviously a huge theme.
Yeah, obviously that's first and foremost, I think, for any football team. That's the biggest stat I think most of us would agree in any level of football is do you have extra possessions and do you take possessions away from the other team. I think really X factor tonight, I think Joel Trineman's a huge factor for this game because like we talked about with the coverage issues that Boise State had against Virginia, Andy Avalos, the defensive coordinator, pointed him out immediately, said that guy has elite level speed, top-end speed. We all know that. We've seen it on tape. First play, well, again, I go back to my last game here. First play of the game against Toledo, 75 yards. It's his speed that sets him apart from everybody else. So if that guy gets opportunities in space, that's going to be the X factor in this game, at least offensively. I think defensively, there's no question that BYU has talent. I don't think there's really ever been a question about that over the course of the season. They've just been on the field too long. So guys like Warner and Taki, who's done a phenomenal job since returning, I think they're X factors on the defensive side, but that's not really anything out of the ordinary for BYU.
What does BYU do better than Boise State, strictly on paper?
I think just on paper, I think they do run the ball better, and that's something that Boise State's coaching staff also pointed out. Last week, especially against Utah State, they did a pretty good job running the football. There were a lot of holes. There were opportunities to get bigger chunks of yardage. The one thing that Ty Detmer did tell us about the backs is, and this goes on the coaches, and I very much appreciate the candor here. Ty basically said it's kind of on us for splitting the reps as much as we did early in the season because we were trying to find the guy. We don't have a Jamal Williams anymore, so we have to find somebody that's willing to take the reins, and splitting all those reps early in the season may have diminished the learning curve a little bit for some of these backs. So the word hesitation was used. I think that's something that BYU running backs have had an issue with. hesitant on where to go, where to read, where to be patient, and then when to burst. So if we see some of that develop over the course of the practice week and translate into what we might see on the field tonight, I think there are some opportunities there for the run game to get established.
Have you heard Jarom do Ty Detmer's impersonation?
Well, Adam, we're going to try and run the ball in the first quarter, and, you know, hopefully your analyst stays this time for us, and we'll just throw it deep and see what they give us.
Really good.
I want to call. I've asked him if I could
really
call
good.
a play on headset.
That was really good. Will like Tanner or Coy or anybody be able to tell the difference?
We did a thing with them, and I couldn't get Coy. I didn't get Tanner. I got Squally Canada.
You got Squally? Okay.
Yeah.
And you got Moroni Laulu Pututau too.
Yeah.
Would they be able to tell the difference is the biggest question.
Ty and I sat behind a curtain, and I would talk. They'd have to guess who was talking. And I was talking, and they thought it was Ty.
named that coordinator, basically.
Yeah, we actually did that. Yeah,
that's a really impressive, strong imitation.
Isn't
Thank
it,
you.
though?
That was really good.
Even if you're lying, I really appreciate it.
No, that was really
Holy
solid.
Okay,
cow.
more likely, let's end with this. BYU beats Boise State tonight, or your Chicago Cubs repeat?
I think BYU beating Boise State is much more likely. And not because the Cubs aren't playing well. Honestly, the Nationals, their offense scares the heck out of me. I think their pitching staff is a lot deeper than people realize. And even if you get past them, I think either the Dodgers or the Diamondbacks, who I saw on Wednesday night, one of those teams.
I'm going to the Dodgers game.
Are you going? Are you going? It was Arizona, Colorado was awesome. It was one of the coolest events I've ever gotten a chance to call. My first MLB playoff game. But I think BYU Boise has a chance to be a really competitive game. I'm not going to say it's going to be the highest scoring game, but desperation leads to competitiveness. And I do think with the track record that these two programs have had, with the game that we saw last year, with how these teams come in, maybe limping a little bit, I think we're in for a really competitive game tonight.
Great stuff. Adam, thanks for coming by, man.
Always a pleasure, guys. Where's Spuddy Buddy? Did you guys just beat him up?
He's not here. We do have we come bearing gifts.
Ah!
There are BYU
Look at
Sports
this!
Nation socks, okay?
This will go
They
great.
can rock the
I
socks.
think I have to wear the BYU Sports Nation shirt. And these socks pulled all the way up when I work out or something.
Yes.
Maybe next time
Which I do with Valpo.
When I collapse a quarter of the way up towards the Y next time, these will be the socks that I wear.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
but as you mentioned, pulled all the way up.
just for added embarrassment, I think is what we're getting for.
You can watch Adam tonight on ESPN, coverage starting at 10:15 Eastern.
All right, looking forward to it, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
You
Adam.
got
Great
it.
to see
Adam
you.
Amin of ESPN with us. Do you expect BYU to beat Boise State? Hashtag BYUSN. Send in your responses. Also coming up.
Yeah, what Cougar hoopsters are in action overseas today? The pros overseas begin their play, including Brandon Davies.
We found Spuddy Buddy, by the way.
Oh, did you? That's great.
Adam, would you like to do something to Spuddy Buddy?
Would you like
Well,
to
you
just
guys have
hold
been
him, I
very
guess?
mean to him, and I
Yeah.
met Spuddy Buddy, so I'm going to be nice to Spuddy.